Throughout Earth's long history, there have been creatures so strange, so terrifying, and so massive that they seem almost unbelievable. Among these ancient beasts was a predator that once roamed the vast wilderness of prehistoric Australia. Larger than any Komodo dragon alive today, stronger than most modern predators, and deadly enough to dominate an entire continent. Its name was Megalania, a monstrous lizard that walked the land like a living nightmare. This isn't legend, it's reality, backed by real fossil evidence and scientific research. Megalania is believed to have been the largest terrestrial lizard to ever exist. At full length, it may have stretched over 7 meters, roughly the length of 3 king-sized beds, and weighed over 600 kilograms. When this predator struck, it was fast, powerful, and nearly unstoppable. But size alone wasn't its only weapon. Megalania had a body built for war. Thick, rugged skin covered with bony scales, powerful legs packed with muscle, and a long, heavy tail that could act like a battering ram. Its head was filled with serrated, dagger-like teeth designed to rip through flesh. And according to some experts, it may have had venom glands in its lower jaw, similar to modern monitor lizards, meaning its bite could deliver a toxin that stopped blood from clotting, slowly weakening its prey from the inside out. This apex predator emerged around 1.5 million years ago and survived until roughly 50,000 years ago, dominating open woodlands, grasslands, and bush-covered environments across what we now call Australia. Most of the fossils we've found come from the east and south of the continent, where it likely used tall shrubs and trees for cover, launching deadly ambushes on anything unfortunate enough to come too close. And its prey wasn't small. Megalania hunted some of the largest animals ever to walk the Australian continent, including Diprotodon, a wombat-like giant that weighed over 2.5 tons. Despite its size, Diprotodon was slow, making it an easy target for an ambush predator. Another victim was Procoptodon, the largest kangaroo species in history. Standing over 2 meters tall, with legs strong enough to deliver bone-shattering kicks. But even that wasn't enough to survive a Megalania attack. However, Megalania wasn't the only apex predator around. Ancient Australia was a battleground full of giant killers. One of Megalania's main rivals was the Thylacoleo, or marsupial lion, a powerful carnivore with cat-like features, massive jaws, and gripping claws. Though not related to real lions, Thylacoleo hunted similar prey and likely competed directly with Megalania for food and territory. The two may have even clashed face to face, battles between muscle and scale. Another competitor was Quincana, a terrestrial crocodile that had long legs, sharp teeth, and a fully land-based lifestyle. Unlike modern crocodiles that rely on rivers, Quincana roamed forests and woodlands, hunting large marsupials and reptiles with surprising agility. Its size was similar to Megalania, between 3 and 6 meters long, and while there's no direct fossil evidence of them fighting, their territories certainly overlapped. And Megalania may have fought with its own kind too. Like today's Komodo dragons, male Megalanias were probably solitary, defending large territories from rivals. When another male intruded, brutal clashes likely followed. Although they may have been immune to each other's venom, their claws and teeth were deadly enough on their own. But the deadliest threat Megalania ever faced was us. Around 50,000 to 65,000 years ago, the first humans arrived in Australia, migrating from Southeast Asia, traveling across island chains, and finally landing on the continent. They weren't just hunters, they were ecosystem engineers. Early Aboriginal Australians used controlled burns to manage the land, altering vegetation and changing animal populations. They also hunted large prey, like Diprotodon and Procoptodon, the same animals Megalania depended on for survival. As food grew scarce and forests disappeared, Megalania found itself trapped in a world that was changing too fast. It couldn't adapt. It reproduced slowly, required large amounts of meat, and needed space to roam, all of which were now vanishing. Eventually, the world's largest land lizard faded into extinction. Interestingly, the ancient Aboriginal myths speak of giant reptiles that could devour people whole. One such creature was called the Hui, a monstrous lizard said to shake the ground as it walked. Another was the rainbow serpent, a deity believed to carve rivers and mountains. These stories may have been exaggerated memories of real encounters with massive creatures like Megalania. Today, we can't say for sure, but the bones left behind and the stories passed down tell us that this predator was very real and truly terrifying. Megalania is now gone from the Earth, but its legacy remains buried beneath Australia's red soil. It reminds us of a forgotten era when giant reptiles and mammals lived side by side, and size alone was not enough to survive. In the end, it was the cleverness of humans, not just their strength, that rewrote the balance of power. Megalania may be extinct, but its shadow still looms large across the ancient deserts of Australia.